So, Google has started to act weird, like a bit dumb when it comes to their Pixel phones, especially the 8A. Okay, so here's what they've done. So last year's Pixel 8 has thinner bezels, better build, stronger durability, better camera sensors, bigger battery, and the same Tensor G3 chip. And it's just $50 more expensive than the new Pixel 8A. It's almost like they don't want people to buy the Pixel 8A. Now in India, they've dug themselves a completely different hole. Okay, so India is a market that's spoiled with choices. The Pixel 8A is priced at 53,000. That's very steep for a phone which has nothing that's top of the line. There are phones like iQOO 12 and OnePlus 12R that cost the same or actually less and offer much higher performance. And we used to say that Pixel 7a was overpriced. And it's not like the Pixel 8a comes with a lot in the box. Just the phone and the cable. No charger, no screen protector, no protective case, nothing. And so really the absurdity of the price is something I can't digest. Now, I won't lie, but design isn't one of the things that I would complain about. This is easily the most good-looking A-series phone by Google. The back panel is this, soft matte finish, so much so that it doesn't even feel like plastic. Overall, very minimal, modern aesthetic, and it's a massive improvement over last year's 7a. The other thing I absolutely adore about the phone is the size. It's, just one of those phones that fits perfectly well in your hand given the smaller form factor. I mean, all Android smartphones are just really big now. Now, I'm sure you're already aware of the colors. I like them all, so you suit yourself. Now, one thing that's a bit of a letdown is actually its durability. So it's still got Gorilla Glass 3 in 2024. And it's IP67 rated for water and dust resistance. Here in India, Android phones that cost half the price, even they give you Gorilla Glass 5, and they also have IP67 water and dust resistance. Think about this, they give you 7 years of Android upgrades on this, but then they give you Gorilla Glass 3, which is not even going to last more than 3 years. But you're not going to drop it at least once in 7 years? I don't think so. Couple of other things real quick. It supports wireless charging and also reverse wireless charging, although at very slow speeds. But hey, at least it's there, right? The other thing is the speakers, okay? They're decently loud, but they're very high on treble. It's almost like they're missing bass. So at very high volumes, it actually gets pretty hurtful to your ears, so don't do that.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's got a single SIM tray and you can add eSIM if you want to. Alright, I think all of this takes care of its build and the design. Overall, I think it's a really good looking device, but for its price, I think it's probably worse than most mid-range smartphones that you get here, at least in India. Now, let's move on to the display. And honestly, last year's Pixel 7a, it had horrible display. So anything is an improvement over this. So this time, like the Pixel 8, the Pixel 8a has 2000 nits of peak brightness and 120 Hz of refresh rate. So finally, it's ample bright outdoors, and unlike the 7a, you won't find yourself as complaining. But honestly, sure, it is brighter than Pixel 7a, but it's still not as bright as I would like it to be. If you look at other phones in this price segment, they're definitely brighter. Also, it's an HDR ready display. It supports HDR playback of, your Netflix titles. And honestly, I think it looks really good. One of the best HDR displays that I've seen. Just two things, okay? The 120 Hz refresh rate is not turned on by default. So you'll need to go into settings and then turn it on. And second, even the always on display is not turned on by default. So that's another setting that you'll have to go into and turn it on. And this is something that actually bugs me. Like, why would you disable such obvious features? I know you're doing it to save battery, but no, turn them on by default when you ship the phone and make sure that you're optimizing the battery well enough, right? I mean, that's the way to go about it. Okay, did I even talk about the bezels? They're ugly. Okay, so here's the iQOO 12, okay? Same price, and just look at the difference in those bezels. I mean, sure, as a user, you will get used to the bezels, but it's, I think, the only stain in their design. Now, when it comes to performance, oh man, very mixed feelings. Look, the Tensor G3 chip is a good move, and I appreciate that, Google, but it still has that heating problem.
Alright guys, so I thought I'll take the opportunity to take a 4K video sample from the front-facing camera and also tell you that while I've been shooting, taking photos, videos, the phone's actually got pretty warm. I mean, it is pretty hot in Delhi right now, but even then, the phone's really warm, unpleasantly warm.
I mean, if I'm gaming for too long or if I'm using the camera for too long, If I'm charging it, it gets warm pretty quickly, and that was also the problem with the Pixel 7a. In terms of daily use, it's smooth, things open up quick, moving between apps is swift, but while watching Netflix for over 2 hours, the device started to feel warm. I mean, while watching Netflix? Sure, you can game on this, you can boost the settings a bit and it would perform smooth, but heating was still a bit of an issue. Look guys, as I said earlier, there are phones like the iQOO 12 or even phones that are at much lower prices like the OnePlus 12R that offer much better performance and cooling. At this price, this feels inadequate. But okay, let's talk about their cameras, because that is the number one reason why people consider the Pixel series phones anyway, right? So it's the same camera system as the Pixel 7a, 64 megapixel primary camera and a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera. And just so you know, there is no telephoto lens on this, but is it significantly better than the Pixel 7a? And how close is it to the Pixel 8? Okay, so here are the comparisons of the 8a's pictures with the Pixel 8 and the 7a. And frankly speaking, they look very similar. Like here in this selfie, I think the red on the Pixel 8a is a bit too oversaturated, but honestly the difference between the three cameras is not too significant. I mean, given that Google does most of its heavy lifting through processing, I did expect them to be very similar, if not the same. Now, if you went to the Pixel website, you'd see that there are some features that have been added in the Pixel 8a. Stuff like Best Take is now present, where you can choose the best picture from choices, and there's also Magic Editor, which lets you move things around in a picture. And these were some things that were actually missing in the Pixel 7a, right? And they didn't do this out of a goodness in their heart. It's just that it's becoming really common in other phones around this price segment, so they're like, we might as well give it. But comparison aside, it still takes good pictures. Daytime photos are fantastic. The colors are on point as you'd expect from, a breed of pixels. The way Pixel phones just blend the highlights, the shadows, the exposure, the colors, it's really good. The color accuracy has always baffled me, and the way it handles the sky. I'm yet to see any Android phone do this. And the same thing holds true even indoors. The colors are good, beautifully balanced exposure. It just gets them right. Nothing stands out as, oh my god, what happened here? And this picture here is actually a ceiling, and I was so proud of myself to get this picture right, but then really, kudos to the camera capabilities here. Even in low light, I think it did an okay job, not the best though. I've seen iPhone 15 Pro, the Vivo X100 Pro, and the iQOO 12 actually do a better job. And finally, the selfies. So basically, I took portrait shots only. I wanted to check colors and the edge detection and the focus fall off all in one go. And I think it's quite nice on all fronts. The face texture and the color looks nice. The background focus fall off is also very natural, like it was even with the Pixel 7a. And that dynamic range is again really on point. And then comes the video. So it can shoot 4K videos up to 60 FPS, although what I'm showing here was shot at 30 FPS, okay? Now, in the daytime, it's all good. Colors look nice, good dynamic range, nothing stands out in the way that feels wrong. Very well balanced. The stabilization is good. You can get really close to a subject to it, latch on to the focus, as you can see over here. So yeah, you may need to tap and get the focus right, but it works. But yeah, it's not as good as iPhone. Like iPhone videos in the daytime are just absolutely amazing, and this is not close to that. However, in low light, the video quality really takes a hit. I've seen video footage of some other phones like Vivo and iQOO 12. They're amazing, and this one, it's just too shaky. There's too much focus hunting. Not good. Also, it's got the Magic Audio Eraser. So if you want to see that in action, here's a sample.
All right, so guys, I'm shooting using the front-facing camera of the Pixel 8a. Okay, and I have to tell you one thing, that as I've been moving around and taking pictures and videos, the phone has become extremely hot. Like, it's actually really warm, okay? But let me know how the video quality looks. So this is 4K, which is really good because, it looks nice, at least on the screen. But of course, you'll be a better judge of whether it actually looks good when it's transferred onto, something like YouTube.
Look, about the cameras, here's what I'd say. The camera output is easily one of the best in this price segment. It takes good photos, good videos, good selfies. Can't complain. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on the software, but hey, it's Pixel. So you get the most stock experience you could ever think of. No bloatware, super clean install. And obviously now it's got a couple of AI tricks baked in. I've already shared or shown you the Best Take, Magic Editor, and the Magic Audio Eraser. But there's Circle to Search now, just like you had in Samsung phones with Galaxy AI. And it still has the best live translations, the best speech to text conversions, or there's Call Assist where it'll, hold a call for you while you're kept on hold by, someone. And yes, 7 years of Android upgrades, and you already know my opinion on that. Thank you, Google, much appreciated.
You are welcome.
But I just don't know if the Gorilla Glass 3 on this and the Tensor G3 chip are ready for that. All right, finally, battery life. So it's a small phone, right? So it's got a smaller battery capacity. It's not exactly the 5000 mAh that you're used to in this price segment. And here's the SOT, or the screen on time, that I've been getting. And it's actually not that bad. But to be honest, most of this was all indoors. I do spend a lot of time indoors and in controlled environment. But if I did even take this out, like the entire day on 5G and generally hot conditions, if not this much, I would still get about 5.5 hours, which may not be a lot for a lot of you, but then, considering it's a small phone, smaller battery capacity, I would say it's actually not bad for the size. But yeah, if you had like a heavier day with a lot of camera use or a lot of gaming, this thing would, die out on you 75% of your day in. So like by evening 6 o'clock, it'll be done. But the bigger issue that you're gonna have with this is charging. It takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to charge all the way from 0 to 100. iPhones are faster than this. All right, so final thoughts. Should you buy? All right, so final thoughts. Should you get this phone? Depends. If you're a hardcore Google Pixel fan, you love the AI features, really like the camera, and you don't have the budget to go for the Pixel 8, definitely the Pixel 8a is a great option for you. But if you're in India, and if all the other things I said above are not as important to you, then may I suggest you can consider the iQOO 12 and the OnePlus 12R, which at equivalent or lesser price does give you much better performance. Sure, they won't be as big on Android upgrades, and they may not have as good camera output as the Pixel does, but they will definitely give you a smoother everyday performance for the 3 to 4 years that you will end up using your phone for, and probably not the 7 years as Google thinks you would. And if you're in the US, don't even think about this. Just spend the extra $50 and get yourself the Pixel 8. It's a much better deal. Anyway, that's it guys about the Pixel 8a. If you guys still have any questions, comments, thoughts, doubts, concerns, let me know in the comment section. I'll definitely help you out. And if you did enjoy watching the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon, and mark all. Really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.